Here's the recording of pages 107 to 109. Writing it down. Like the Sumerians, ancient Egyptians looked for some way to communicate commands from their kings, stories of the gods, and instructions for trade and building. Whereas Sumerians developed a wedge-shaped script called cuneiform, Egyptians invented a form of picture writing called hieroglyphics. The picture symbols stood for ideas and sounds. The word hieroglyphics means sacred carving. The Egyptians believed that Thoth, the god of knowledge, invented this precious system that combined pictures and sounds. Hieroglyphs were carved mostly on temple walls, tombs, and monuments, sometimes to record the exploits of the pharaohs. And you can see above, this is from the Book of the Dead. There is a jackal-headed Anubis, and the balances the heart of a dead person against the feather of truth. And then here's an ancient Egyptian believed that statues of servants would come to life and attend them in the afterlife. Egyptian scribes used a quicker system, a sort of hieroglyphic shorthand, to keep all kinds of official records for the pharaoh, from reports about harvest to plans for building temples. Sometimes the Egyptians used animal symbols in their hieroglyphs, and these words show us how imaginative the Egyptians were. For example, there's a fearsome crocodile hiding in the word trouble, and a tall, far-seeing giraffe in the word predict. There's a merrily leaping kid goat in the word imagine. A long-billed ibis digging deep for his food is paired with a wise owl in the word discover. The Egyptians didn't just carve their symbols on stone, they also invented a paper-like writing material called papyrus. Papyrus, which they made by pressing together thin strips cut from the stalks of papyrus plants that grew in the marshes along the Nile. The scribes could roll their writing paper into cylinders for storage when they weren't using them. Eventually, the busy Egyptians filled many libraries with their writings. A famous library in the city of Alexandria had more than 70,000 papyrus scrolls about history, astronomy, geography, and many other subjects. The Rosetta Stone. Egyptians used hieroglyphs for more than 3,000 years, but once their civilization came to an end, people forgot how to read the beautiful picture symbols. Then in AD 1799, some French soldiers unearthed a black stone near Rosetta, a city in Egypt. The stone was divided into 3 sections. Greek writing covered one part. The other 2 parts were covered in ancient Egyptian symbols. The Greek was easy enough to translate. It was a decree issued in 196 BC honoring a pharaoh of Egypt. Scholars soon realized that the other 2 sections probably said the same thing in Egyptian writing. Here at last was a chance to unlock the secrets of hieroglyphs. It wasn't an easy task, partly because much of the Rosetta Stone's Egyptian hieroglyphic writing was missing. The first breakthrough came when scholars noticed the hieroglyphic section had 5 ovals containing identical symbols. The Greek text, meanwhile, mentioned the pharaoh's name 5 times. Beginning with those 5 matches, the scholars began the painstaking task of translating the hieroglyphs. For more than 20 years, they toiled away, Then in 1822, a brilliant young French scholar named Jean-François Champollion, who had been studying the hieroglyphs of ancient Egypt since his youth, announced that he had finally deciphered the Egyptian writing system. Scholars were able to produce dictionaries to help translate hieroglyphs on ancient papyrus scrolls, monuments, and pyramid walls. The Rosetta Stone helped reveal the stories, beliefs, and history of ancient Egypt. And that's the end of the reading of pages 107 to 109.